All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to our biology class. Today we're going to talk about the classification or the six kingdom approach. So I already have this video about what classification is. This is the process in which you can understand how organisms are related to each other and how they are different, right? And there are six kingdoms that are being studied by under this biology. So we have the archaebacteria, kingdom Eubacteria, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. All right, so for classifying this kingdom, or these organisms, we use a dichotomous key to identify organisms by using pairs of these contrasting characteristics. This is the basis for current classifications, just like the phylogeny, the biochemical analysis, embryology, morphology, and the phylogenetic trees. So I want you to remember the levels of classification. First, the highest one is kingdom. Next is phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. All right, so let's talk about today about Kingdom Animalia. The Kingdom Animalia is, characteristics are they are heterotrophs, meaning they cannot make their own food in their bodies. They have to depend on other organisms for food, right? Heterotrophs. They are consumers, in other words. And they are eukaryotic. What do you mean by eukaryotic? Their um, nuclear your nucleus has covered like nuclear membrane. It is embedded by a nuclear membrane, and they are composed of many cells. Call it multicellular. They don't have a cell wall, no chloroplast. Why only bacteria and plants have cell wall? No chloroplasts too, because only plants have chloroplast. Animals don't have. They are mutable, or they can move wherever they are, and they uses their sense organs. What are those sense organs? The eyes, nose, ears, hands, feet, and the mouth and the tongue for sense of taste. Right. So we talk about phyla. So first one here is we're going to talk about sponges. The name is Phylum Periphera. I'll be talking more on that later. Next, Phylum Nidaria. Those are the jellyfish, sea anemones, the corals. Also, we have the flatworms, which is um, called Phylum Platyhelminthes. And we have also roundworms, or the Phylum Nematoda. We have the earthworms, Phylum Annelida. The shelled animals, those with shells, like the clams. That's Phylum Mollusca. We have insects and spiders. That's Phylum Arthropoda. And also we have the spiny skinned animals. We call it Phylum. They belong to Phylum Echinodermata. And the vertebrates and the others are called Chordata. And we humans belong to Phylum Chordata because we have our vertebral column or our spinal column. Right, let's talk first about Phylum Periphera. Okay, as you can see here, who among you has been to a beach? You want to go swimming or you want to go dive into the sea? You can see some of this. They are called sponges. Take note, these are not the sponges that you use for washing the dishes or when you go to the restroom, you have your loofah. No, that's that one, right? When you look at these guys, these sponges cannot move by themselves, right? They are called sessile or not motile. They have pores because they're gonna filter those small things that they eat. They feed on those small floating things. They are asymmetrical. What do you mean by asymmetrical? When you cut them into half, they are not equal in the left side and right side, right? Asymmetrical. Then they provide habitat for other animals, as you can see later. Have you ever been to a zoo or aquarium, ocean aquarium, a very big one? You can see that this and fish can get in, or other animals. Um, these sponges are their homes. They are eaten by starfish and some fish, and this is considered the most primitive animal. Okay, remember that? Sponges. Right, next phylum is called the Phylum Nidaria. These are called the jellyfish, or examples of this. Sea anemones and corals. What are these? They have this coelenteron in their digestive cavity. Okay, when you cut them into half, gradually, they have the symmetry, meaning if you cut this into half, let's try to cut this into half. Say, for example, this part here is equal to this part here, right? They have the radial symmetry. What else? They eat or they feed on crustaceans. They are predators. They also provide important habitat for fish. These are called corals, right? And Phylum Nidaria too, they are what we call coral used for decoration and threatened by pollution. Yeah, some of these corals are used as decoration when you go to some houses, some museum. Yes, these are decorations of corals. And some are threatened by pollution. We have the water pollution. So this is what it is. Now let's go to the flatworms. What are examples of flatworms? These include this tapeworms. Have you ever seen a tapeworm? Mr. Anthony, have you ever seen a tapeworm? Or any flatworms like flukes, planarians?
I heard of it, but I never seen one.
Okay, so these are they belong to phylum Platyhelminthes of the animal kingdom, right? Because today we're going to talk about the animal kingdom. So we have, when you cut this into half, like when you cut like this, let me get this. When you cut like this, half, 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 only half here. So at the left side and at the right side, they are equal. They are called bilateral symmetry. Okay, symmetry means they are equal in both sides when you cut it into half. Bilateral, right? They have their head here and their brain as well, right? So what else? They don't have a body cavity. They are called acoelomates. In their digestion, it has only one opening. And like us humans, we have opening from our mouth. We eat through our mouth, and um, we put all our filters or undigested or waste products through our anus, right? So we have two openings. Um, we have complete digestive system. However, flatworms, they only have one opening, right? They have incomplete digestive system. So they are considered also, some are parasites in our digestive tract and some animals digestive tract. Just like tapeworms, I was at by the biology lab when we were in the university, and we were asked to dissect the the stomach of the pig, and we have found, we went to, actually we did not dissect in the lab itself, but we just went to the place where um Got the place where the animals are being sliced or killed there, and so we look at it. Those people, when they opened the stomach, I could see a lot of tapeworms, and we had to get some of this specimen to bring it to our laboratory. There's tapeworms, and tapeworms, when you cut them into half, they will live again. And if you cut them more and more, so more tapeworms will be living. So that's their characteristics of flatworms or tapeworms. They're very dangerous. Tapeworms are so dangerous. Some in the humans too. Like if you have these tapeworms, it's really dangerous, especially in the stomach. Right. So in early 1900s, the models ate them to be thin. Right. All right. So next one we have roundworms. Have you ever seen this? They are ascaris. Some of the examples are ascaris, or they are called nematodes. When we did our lab as well, we tried to in the stomach of pigs as well. We see a lot of ascaris, like roundworms, and you can also see which ones are males and which ones are females. Right. I'm gonna talk more on that later. For now, they're called nematodes. They have complete digestive system, unlike the uh, I told you a while ago um, about flatworms. They don't have a complete digestive system because they have only one opening. However, roundworms, they have complete digestive system. They have two openings, so from the mouth, then they have the anus, so they can secrete all their waste products. They are called pseudocoelomate. They decompose, or they are also considered predators. Okay, it's like a bacteria, and they are eaten by insects and some mice. Right. For garden roundworms, also they are good for the garden by eating the insects. Right. Another one is Phylum Annelida, or segmented worms. What are these? Um, have you ever seen this before, Anthony? The earthworms. When you dig down to the ground, you can see um, these earthworms. Just want to delete some of this. Right, these earthworms. Right. Okay, or some leeches. I have seen this. We also dissected. We studied this under in our laboratory, and I studied my BS biology in my undergraduate. And earthworms and leeches. Leech. Um, what are their characteristics? Let's talk about them. We have the true Phylum. They're very sensitive to vibrations. When um, they can hear their some like the sound vibrations on ground or rain, they can hear it. They're very sensitive. um, Snakes, robins, the birds, shrews, and jays like to eat them. For leeches, they have cornified knobs to break skin, have anticoagulant and anesthetic. Yeah, one time I was at our farm, and I tried to help my dad plant some rice plant, and I didn't wear my boots, so some leeches like try to bite me and like break my skin and really suck my blood because they like to suck blood. And once they're full, the leeches will just go free away. So I was so scared that time. I tried to like cut them, but they're not full yet. They won't go away unless they're full. They can just really go away. Or you can put like salt or some charcoal, charcoal powder, or some ashes. You can put it there, and they're scared of that. So leeches, right? Some have also medicinal properties. The leeches that are medicinal for those with high hypertension or high blood pressure. So they gonna just go. We call it medicinal leeches because the doctors would like to use these leeches to treat those people with hypertension. So they're gonna suck some of the blood of those people, and so yeah, like we call it medicinal leeches. Right. Another one is Phylum mollusca. Have you ever seen this before? These corals or shelled snails, slugs, clams, mussels, oysters, octopus, and squid, scallops. They are called mollusks or Phylum mollusca. They have different forms. Some are giant squid, call it sea serpent, and they can just pass even in very small opening. I have seen a video in YouTube about the very big squid but can still go into a very small opening. All right. The next one is um, insects or the jointed legged animals. Phylum Arthropoda, spiders. Have you ever seen the Spider-Man movie? Yes. Oh, that's very famous here. Anywhere, right? So these are insects, shellfish, scorpions. Okay. Also, we have crustaceans like centipedes. We have one pair of legs per segment, and the millipedes also have two pairs. Okay, we have centipedes, 100 legs, while millipedes, 1,000 legs. Have you ever seen centipedes and millipedes? And they have exoskeleton. If humans have skeletal system, they have also exoskeleton. What is an exoskeleton? Right? What is an exoskeleton? Have you ever met that word before? Um, this will be almost the last, right? Have you ever met the word before, exoskeleton? This is an external covering for their body, for these insects, the arthropods, okay? Because they don't have skeletal system, they don't have bones. So this is the name of their skeleton. We call it um, exoskeleton for only those invertebrates or no bones. And they do metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? Have you ever heard that word before? Type in the chat box or comment down below what metamorphosis is. Right? Metamorphosis here, class, is a process in which I'm going to show you some processes of the animals that do metamorphosis. All right, let's see here some images. Okay, when we say metamorphosis, okay, these animals transform from an immature form to an adult form, just like this butterfly. First off, they go from caterpillar, then they transform to another stage, which is the um, pupa. Then they go to, and then butterfly, and some others like larva, pupa. We have the frogs. We have also from the insects, from the eggs, nymphs, and then to an adult wing. Insects. So these are called metamorphosis, right? So they have the transformation from the immature form, larvae, into an adult, right? So those are examples. We will continue with the echinodermata, or we call it the spiny skinned. Have you ever seen a sea star, a starfish, or sea urchin? Have you been to the beach lately? Have you ever seen this? Right? So this phylum Echinodermata, or they are called the spiny skinned animals. Why? Because they have the spines, right? Like the sea stars. Okay. They have also tube feet. They can in the ventral side, and they can walk there just like the starfish. But they eat. Their mouth is in the ventral side. Okay. They're important predators. They have the water vascular system. The last but not the least is phylum Chordata, which includes the vertebrates, which is what? Those with backbones, like fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. For us people, we belong to higher forms of mammals. We are mammals because we give birth to live young, we feed through babies through milk, the mothers. We have hairs, not the feathers. Feathers are only for birds. For reptiles, they have the shell or hard shells, just like the alligators. Amphibians, like frogs and toads. So they have shiny skin. And fish, of course, some fish, they have, most of the fish have bones, but some, we call it the chondrostrius. Past chondrostrius, they don't have bones. All right, so this is it, Anthony. Your project is to make a Google slide presentation or make a poster about the Kingdom Animalia and write this 8 phylum. If you can go to Canvas, you can see your assignment. Let's go to Canvas. Let's go to modules. So your project today is all about classification. So write this, make a poster or Google slides of these 8 phyla with the characteristics of each phylum. There must be phylum name like this, eight of this here. Their characteristics, I already told you about that, but you're gonna make your own. And the examples with pictures. So there should be 8 or more slides, 1 slide each, or you can add more, or 2 slides in each phylum, right? Thank you so much, and I hope you have learned something today. Anthony, and the rest of you, I recorded this one. I'm gonna post it on Canvas as well. Thank you, Anthony. Unless you have any more questions or additional information, you can type on the chat box. All right. So in summary, we have 8 phylums under Kingdom Animalia. We have Phylum Periphera, Phylum Nidaria, Phylum Platyhelminthes, Phylum Nematoda, Phylum Annelida, Phylum Mollusca, Phylum Arthropoda, and Phylum Chordata. So all of this can be found on the slides, and you can add more information. Thank you, and have a great day, everybody. All right. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.